All right, so we divided our job in CESAR Project in this way, that I'm about to tell you something general about the project, but I will, since we are limited in time to only 90 minutes, we decided to cover the language communities, the languages with so-called smaller activities within this introductory talk, while the three other linguistic communities, which are larger by number of speakers and with stronger activities, they will be covered by individual presentations. So what I asked organizers several times to correct the title of this session, and the title should be Central and Southeast European. Otherwise, our project would be called only SAR. So this is actually what the acronym stands for. So the correct title of this session is Central and Southeast European Experience or whatever. Right. So the overall outline of my talk will be, I'll say something about the CESAR project in general. I will give you then brief overview of situation in 3 countries, and of course I will end up with some conclusions. Well, if we start with something what was named geolinguistic position. So if you look at CESAR, and the acronym stands for that, CESAR operates as a part of MetaNet Network of Excellence, and it's one of the 3 supporting PSP projects which are defined by the geolinguistic spread. So we are covering Central and Southeast Europe. Actually, we are connecting 3 inner European seas. So you see there's a nice line following more or less the Roman limes to a certain extent. Some of the countries are on the other side, on one side, and the others are on the other side, but we are following the Danube more or less. Okay, and CESAR project covers these languages. So in the first column after the language name, you see the status of a language regarding the European Union, whether is it official or not. The first number is a number of inhabitants in these countries, and the second number in parentheses is the number which is supposed to be number of speakers of these languages. So this is an estimate. This is not the exact number, because the problem is how can you count the emigrants, and which generation of emigrants will you count into speakers, second or third, and so on and so on. But overall, the number of inhabitants is 70 plus million, but if you count the estimates, it's more than 90 million. And all the languages in this project are Slavic languages, apart Hungarian. And this is why I picked them up for coordinators. Okay, so CESAR Consortium is built from these institutions, from these countries, and you see that we are following the limitations of the call. So there's maximum of 2 partners in per language. So some countries have 2 partners, some countries have only 1 partner. As you see, almost all partners are coming from academic institutions. There's only one institute which is not connected to academia or university. So the general aims of this project are that knowing how the language resources and tools in the CESAR countries were developed. They were, of course, developed mostly in sporadic manner or according to only specific project needs. And of course, in these cases, you don't pay much attention to such issues as IPR or interoperability or long-term sustainability. And of course, unusability in different contexts later. So the CESAR project aims to address all those issues by standardizing, enhancing, and upgrading or cross-linking all those language resources and tools with a wide variety of these resources and tools. And of course, at the end, making them available through MetaShare platform, of which we have heard quite a lot so far. So the general aims is that what kind of resources we will include. So we will try to cover multilingual speech databases, corpora, dictionaries and word nets, relevant processing tools at this level of complexity, so tokenizers, lemmatizers, chunkers, and parsers. So at this moment, we are not, in these countries, for these language communities, There are no advanced type of tools like frame semantics or dialogue systems or similar things. This level of tools and resources is yet to be reached. So our effort will be to make and ensure sustainability through mobilizing national LT communities. So this is something where one of our main work packages lies. And of course, we would like to raise awareness of the role in our respective communities, not just to policymakers of which we expect funding on a national level, but also to media and general public. And in this respect, I think having Meta Forum in Budapest actually helps our project and our tasks and rises up the visibility of this project as well as the whole MetaNet community. Okay, so these are the general aims of the project, and I will now try to cover the situation in 3 countries. So the alphabetical order, Croatia comes first. So I'll say something about research in language technologies. So the key player here is University of Zagreb Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences. It has quite a long tradition in corpus linguistics and computational approaches to linguistic processing since '67. And there were some older works done from 70s and 80s, completed later. But today we are covering this type of resources like national corpus, which is more than 100 million in size, and parallel corpus, where the English, of course, is paired. Croatian WordNet has been started in 2007. There's a dependency tree bank, which is around 4,000 sentences manually annotated at this moment. There is a huge morphological lexicon with more than 4 million word forms available at this web page. And of course, the hybrid MSD tagger and lemmatizer, named entity recognition system, and the Croatian model for NUJ. Well, about NUJ I will say something at the end. The project in which this group is involved are national projects, bilateral projects, and as well as European-funded projects, which are listed here. Well, of course, that's just this group, just one player from the University of Zagreb. But of course, the Institute of Croatian Languages and Linguistics is another player. They are building a Croatian language repository, and they are very much involved into building of terminological databases for different domains. And they are producing digital dictionaries of Croatian dialects, including geomapping data. That means that they are actually mapping isoglossae to GIS systems. Another faculty from the same university is Faculty of Electrical Engineering and Computing. They have been featuring online spelling checkers since '94. And there is a strong group on knowledge technologies in this faculty. They deal with information retrieval and extraction, visualization with knowledge technologies, and they have produced several tools which are quite useful in LT community as well. They have been involved in national projects and bilateral international projects, and they also are taking part in some European projects like at LSMT. But this doesn't cover, although there is another University of Rijeka where the strong speech processing unit is working, so they are building a Croatian spoken corpus. But research, of course, as you see here, is situated only in academic institutions. There's no research on LT in industrial partners, in the industrial area. But another key player, I would say, is the association. So the Croatian Language Technology Society exists since 2004, and it plays I would say, integrating role for language technology in Croatia. So they're trying to coordinate the activities and actions. And also, this society is active in organizing conferences, international and national conferences. And there is also a portal, Language Technologies for Croatian, which was trying to compete at certain time with famous HLT Central, which I cannot regret more to being shut down. And I really don't understand why HLT Central was shut down. It is not so expensive to maintain such a type of portal. Okay, another very important point is curricula. So we have, at the level of MA studies, we have two Department of Linguistics which feature MA study of linguistics with a special track, special direction in computational linguistics. So we are actually educating experts in computational and corpus linguistics. And this is what we understood. And that was the moment when the Bologna process was introduced in Croatian universities. At this very moment we introduced this direction, and now the first experts have already graduated, got their MA last year. Okay, about the industry partners. So the first spelling checker, industrial type of spelling checker, was done in '97, and immediately it was bought by Microsoft, and it's a part of MS Office today. There's a lexicographic publisher, private lexicographic publisher, who gave their lexicographical database for free usage, for free access to everyone through web interface. There's a governmental agency who produced a morphologically and multilingually sensitive search engine for Croatian legislation. So the whole Croatian legislation is being indexed using Eurovoc, which was translated to Croatian back in 2000. So all these documents are retrievable using any language version of Eurovoc, and you will get the Croatian legislation text online freely. Or if you use Croatian, of course, you can then cover the morphological variants. The Croatian news agency HINA is using language technologies for tasks like automatic classification of news wires, automatic keyword and name entity extraction, and populating with this information a metadata for each news item. And then they use the lemmatization in their search engine. And of course, there's a number of translation and localization companies that are using machine-aided translation or machine translation tools like the three ones. So I would like to finish this presentation of Croatian LT situation with a reminder on, I would say, historical meeting in Dubrovnik that happened in October 1989 with this title.